Artec Weld-On high steer kit for the 05 and newer Super Duties. I love these things. I've been involved with it since the beginning. One of the first ones to have this stuff on one of our axles and test it out and try it for Artec. And they've even made improvements from when I did it. God, that was a long time ago. But with this kit, keep in mind, a flapper wheel is your friend. You're gonna have some metal that's on here. And when we talk about getting this stuff clean, we really took our time to take a torch to it and burn off, get this super hot, burn off all of the rust that's on there, burn off all the paint, all the grease and everything that's on there, and then take a flapper wheel and really polish that and sand that down smooth. When this goes on, there's a bump right here, and it really depends on the year. The 11 and newer models are gonna be a little bit different, but the instructions are clear. It tells you what to do, but take the time to go ahead and fit this on there. And when you get it, it is not going to fit like this. Difference in casting and so on and so forth. But if you take that flapper wheel and you take a Sharpie, you can run the line that you've got to cut this thing down to. And when you're looking at it, come over here and take a look at this. This line right here, I like to line up this line with the brake caliper. And that's how you know you've got the rotation right. I see a lot of people with these things kicked out to the side like that. And I'm sure nobody's gonna see it, but you'll know. So make sure the rotation is right here. Also make sure that it's sitting far enough down on the axle and it's not lifted way up. So the weld detail that's down here at the bottom, they leave you room for weld detail. Whenever we go to weld that, this weld is going to be bigger than that weld detail. So what you'll have to do to get this fitment back is take a flap wheel and open up this hole. And don't worry, you're going to weld it from the bottom side, weld it from the top side, but you're going to cut this and bevel it like at a 45-degree angle with your flap wheel. That way this thing will sit down all the way on there. Other tips and tricks is make sure that when this is sitting on there, that you go ahead and clear all of this back. Because remember, you're going to preheat this and you're going to weld this. So once this starts to burn, if there's any paint, if there's any rust, anything that's around the edge, that's going to cause a gas that's going to contaminate the weld. So make sure you clean all of that. And if you come around here to the inside, this is another area where you need to clean not only all of this, but down here at the bottom, because there's another plate that goes in there. Let's see. There's another plate somewhere. Ha, found it. So this plate is going to slide in just like that. Now this is key on the rotation, because if the rotation is off, this plate's going to have a huge gap. So you know you've got it right when this plate goes in like that, and you can rotate it all the way in and then slide it down to where it's supposed to be, and you don't have any gap in there. Just like that. It will take a little bit extra time, like an 80 or a 60 flapper wheel will make this so much easier to fit this. And make sure you don't weld this on when it's on the vehicle. So this is the last piece to go on. What you're going to do is take this, weld the outside edges, weld the bottom edges, then weld the inside of here for this middle piece right here. Get that tacked into place, pull all this apart, weld it, put it all back together. When you're putting your heim joints together, we use body washers. You can use an 1/8 inch washer. Make sure that when you put this together, you don't put it together without putting a washer or something. Well, if you do it, you'll know why. But basically the heat from this is going to compress it, and it will be a pain to get it back apart. So if you go ahead and throw in an 1/8 inch washer, go ahead and throw in a body washer, something like that, to give you a little bit of separation when you're welding this together, this bolt will come out. These joints will always be easy to replace. So we're going to pull this off of here. I'm going to heat this up to 400 degrees or so, and I'm going to weld in a small weld around here just to set this. I'm going to go to the table and weld in the outsides. Something I like to do, and there is no reason for it. It's going to be covered up by paint. It's going to be covered up by tires. But for me, when I'm welding, I like all of the welds to flow starting from the front of the vehicle, back, and down. Maybe it's just my OCD, but I like the way it looks. Yes, we're going to cover it up, but 20 years from now, when somebody finds this axle sitting in a junkyard or somewhere, they will say, damn, this dude knows how to weld. So just some OCD things there for you. But let's see what we can do. Let's burn this thing together.
Now that we're done welding, I'm going to put some heat back into it just to make sure that everything cools at the same rate or as close to the same rate as we can. We're going to make this thing cool down nice and slow. And this is a really important step that whenever you're doing this or whenever you're welding to cast steel, just make sure you don't miss this.
All right, so let this bake in the oven for another 3 to 4 hours, and then take it out, frost it, a little sprinkle of cinnamon and sugar on it, and enjoy.